basically went rogue and attempted a coup d'etat on Emperor Lars the 17th, but unfortunately he got busted and justice was served and he was exiled to the planet Sard. However, during his exile, he formed an alliance with Bacterian, who are the common threats of the Gradius series, and became mutated and thought it would be a fun idea to take over all of Gradius's space neoplanets, whatever the heck those are supposed to be. So your basic objective in this game is to basically reclaim all the planets that Venom has captured, and then you're supposed to encounter him on planet Sin, where he's sort of set up shop. And as far as actual gameplay goes, that has basically no relevance on anything I'm doing, but it's just kind of worth bringing up. So the levels in this game do kind of have somewhat of a theme to them, because obviously you're traveling through different planets. For example, this is the Colossus planet, with a lot of these weird statue things. So as you saw earlier, lasers and missiles can be double upgraded. Lasers just simply become longer, and missiles travel faster. You do need to double upgrade them in order to get some of the better weapons in this game. Alright, here we have the first boss of the game. This is Riot Warship. Most of the bosses in this game are just warships, and it's pretty self-explanatory. But wait, it hasn't blown up yet. So, in this game, after you destroy core bosses, you can actually enter their cores, and you get to kind of go through this sort of mini core ship bonus level-ish thing, and you can use this to get some additional power-ups, and a lot of these power-ups are actually going to be very, very useful, so I'm definitely not going to want to skip out on those. I don't want to die here, so I'm going to kind of try to be careful with how I take out these cannons. So, in this game, the force field only protects you from the front. Even though it looks like the Gradius MSX version, the Gradius NES version, make no mistake, I will die if I collide with anything from the back. So here's the basic rule of getting weapons from core ships. If you beat the boss in under 30 seconds, you get 2 weapons, or beat the boss under 15 seconds, you get 2 weapons. In this case, I got both the up laser and down laser. And if you beat it in under 30, you just get 1 weapon. Now, I'm actually going to mute game audio here, unintentionally, and the reason why is, unfortunately, for whatever stupid reason, the Stage 2 music in this game, known as A Planet of Plants, causes Twitch VODs to get muted. So, just to avoid that happening to this stream, I'm gonna mute the music during this stage, so unfortunately you won't get to hear it, but I will be kind of talking over everything else, so it doesn't really matter. So, the down laser, which I got, which is the second weapon that I got, you'll never see me use that, but the up laser is what I really wanted. The up laser is probably like the one... If you wanted just one special upgrade, it would be the up laser, because as you can see, it's a lot better than the double, especially when you double upgrade it. So this is the plant planet, a lot of botanical life. That's really all there is this stage has going to it. So that's another kind of new thing to this game, is that in addition to your regular weapons and the weapons you can get from core ships, there are also these hidden weapons that can appear that only last for a set amount of time. So this is the E-slow, or enemy slow. It basically slows down all enemy attacks for 50 seconds. It's mostly useless, but it's usually worth picking up. So I should probably talk about, because this is on the MSX, obviously a lot of compromises had to be made for sprite work, and we have this blocky scrolling. The blocky scrolling, it can definitely be a bit jarring if you haven't played with it before, but once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. Okay, we got a bunch of power-ups here. You'll be seeing me grab a lot of power-ups because, as is usually the case when I play Gradius games, I'm going to try to get as many extra lives as possible, and power-ups give a lot of score. Here's another time to power up. This is the Option Warrior. It makes your options rotate around the ship. This mechanic would later be seen in later Gradius games, but this is actually the first game it was introduced in. And then here we have this section where the walls come out, but you can just kind of stay at the front of the screen and not have to worry about any of that. Another interesting thing about this game is that those blue capsules, the Mega Crash capsules, they actually appear in fixed locations. In most Gradius games, they appear after a set number of capsules, so their positions can vary. But in this game, they will always appear in the same spots every time. Alright, I should be good to unmute the game audio here in a minute. There we go. So, unfortunately, I have to do that for the stream, but we should be good now. So this is the Misfit ship. It's actually a pretty difficult boss if you're unfamiliar with it. Mainly because those lasers actually move with the ship the same way your ship's lasers do. And I'm definitely not going to kill this boss in under 15 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the ship again and get another power-up. All of these inner core ship levels are going to be the same. So you'll be seeing this a couple more times. But it's now a lot easier since I have the up laser and I can afford to just, you know, go. I don't have to go near the top of the screen in order to get enemies that are at the top. It's much better than the double. Yeah, this game, if you haven't looked at the schedule yet and seen the estimate, this game is, it's long. Gradius 5 gets a reputation for being long just because its stages are really long, but this game has the most stages at 14. Although really it has 8, but I'll get to that later. So that weapon that I got there is the Napalm Missile. And I'll be activating that here in just a moment. So the Napalm Missile is basically what would go on to become the Spread Bomb. So it's basically just a regular missile, but when it collides with something, it creates an explosion that does splash damage. Definitely going to be another very useful power-up to have. Right, here we have the Ancient Planet. This stage is pretty much the same thing over and over again. The main gimmick here is you have these columns that you can break off and cause this other stuff to fall over. Right, here's another time power-up. We have the Vector Laser. You can kind of think of it as a glorified Ripple Laser where it just expands outwards. It, again, really doesn't do a whole lot, but it's not really any effort to pick up, and it doesn't really harm you. Alright, I do have to be careful. This is one of the worst areas to die in because these blocks really look like they're going down easily, but that's because I have the laser. Yeah, there are patches that smoothen the scrolling, but I wanted to give you the true MSX experience. So for example, that blue capsule, that will always be there. As long as you destroy that red enemy, of course. If you don't destroy it, then it just won't show up. Right. This green, these green things here can be a bit annoying because they fire sunbursts of bullets. And you can't actually destroy them until they start moving around. You saw a few of those in Stage 1, and they also show up here as well. Alright, I'd really like to have Force Field highlighted by the end of this stage, but Oh, actually, I'll be exactly there. Okay, I thought it was going to be one capsule short. There's another up laser, or another vector laser. Okay. By the way, that little opening right behind me, right behind me here, that leads to a bonus stage. I think it's that opening. I don't remember for sure. There is a bonus stage you can access here. So this might seem like the same Misfit, but it actually has a different attack pattern. It fires much shorter lasers in more rapid bursts. It's actually quite a bit harder. I might get 2 weapons from this, I don't know. That was pretty fast. And if I do get 2 weapons from this, this will be the last course ship that I enter, but if I don't, I'll enter 1 more. There are a total of 7 power-ups you can get using this method, but I'm only going to be getting the first 5. Although really, like, you really only need 1, which is the up laser. The napalm is, like, also a good one to have, but it's less required. So theoretically, I could stop after 3. Alright, I'm actually gonna avoid picking up that capsule in case I do get the 5th upgrade here. Oh, I only got 1. So the reflex ring is just an extension to the double. I'm never going to be using the double anyways, so you'll never be seeing me use that. Okay, this is going to be the floating continent planet. This stage is honestly really, really tedious because of these. So you cannot destroy these crystals. They will unload upon hitting terrain, but they cannot be destroyed by your weapons. So you just kind of have to deal with them. So this is the floating continent planet. It's basically just a bunch of these islands and you have those crystals flying about everywhere. I should also mention right away that this is not a marathon-friendly game at all. Most Gradius games aren't, but this game is especially one of them. The main difficulty factor with this game is actually its length, because you really don't get any downtime. You kind of have to constantly be paying attention, especially once you get to this point in the game. You really gotta have to start focusing on concealing or like containing enemy fire. And it only gets worse from here on out. Like, this game can actually... There can actually be quite a lot of bullets on screen for how old this game is. But I do have safeguards in place in case something horrible, horrible happens. Those volcanoes are really, really annoying. Oh yeah, blue capsules can also take out these crystals. And I haven't yet talked about the laser cannons you saw earlier. Those laser cannons that can only be destroyed when they are firing their lasers, and they only fire their lasers once you get close enough to them. So they can be really, really fickle. Alright, I'm gonna take it. Oh yeah, these crystals, you can also get rid of them with your shield. But I like to kind of hold on to my shield as much as possible here. Okay, I'll grab that. I had to be careful here because I only have 1 hit left on this thing. There we go. So we have a bit of a sub-boss section here, which is just this Crystal Rush. There's actually a save spot for this Crystal Rush, so if you just hide out in the upper left-hand corner above the island that's above me, none of the crystals will be able to hit you, but I don't really like using that, so we're just gonna kind of take it on freehand. Nice. But we're not quite at the boss yet, because now I need to fight not 1, not 2, not 3, but 10 big cores. So these are big cores, the bosses from the original Gradius. Yeah, they're pretty easy. They start going from the bottom, they alternate between bottom and top, and if you know where you need to be to shoot them, each of them, they're very, very easy. As is the case with big core, usually. I think I just have 3 more. That should be 8. Alright, now we have a really, really terrifying boss. This is the Mayhem ship. This basically comes down to manipulation. Yeah, that lightning attack is deadly. Hopefully, that was slow enough to where I only get 1 weapon from this. I really don't want to get 2. That would be really, really bad. But this will be the last core ship that I enter. I should also mention that Blue MSX, the emulator I'm using, doesn't have an auto-fire option, so I am just mashing my spacebar over and over again. Believe it or not, even with the laser, you actually do want to kind of mash as opposed to just letting each beam fully carry out, because reload times are stupid. Okay, please only be 1. Okay, we're good. So I won't be entering any more of those core ships. The other 2 weapons are the back beam, which is basically just the tail gun. I basically never want to use that, and it adds another slot to the power-up bar. And as you can see, the up and down lasers have already added 2 slots, and I don't really want to have a 3rd added there, because it takes longer to power up. And then the 7th weapon is known as the Fire Blaster, and it is broken in this game, so it doesn't work, and it's completely useless. So no reason to ever activate that. But the Extend Laser basically just makes the laser a little bit more powerful. It's not really needed, but again, it doesn't hurt to get. Here we have the Planet of Fire. The main gimmick here again is these just these fire monsters. They don't really take a whole lot. They actually do kind of take a little bit of damage, especially the bottom ones. For some reason, the bottom ones are a lot harder. And then you have these walls, so you can only carve through one specific portion of the wall, and it's not always the same each time. And you have to keep firing in order to keep it open. Yeah, I've tried using the auto hotkey that this emulator provides, but the thing with the auto fire that this emulator has is that it basically, uses auto fire regardless of whether or not you're pressing the key. So I fire when I don't want to be firing, and I don't really like that, so I just stick with this. Things get a little bit dicey here because you have a lot of enemies, and they all fire at you. And the kamikaze fighters honestly aren't that bad, but you do have to watch for them. And you have to make sure you don't get too greedy with power-up capsules, or else you might crash into a wall. Which, believe it or not, is actually all too easy with the blocky scrolling. Okay, but we're good. So we got a bunch of those fire monsters to deal with as the sub-boss. Basically, just hang back here and you'll be good. And then we have another Mayhem ship, so this is just the same as the previous Mayhem fight. I'm gonna be using the same strategy. Okay, cool. So, yeah, if you don't enter the core ship right away and just wait, the boss will eventually blow up. Like that. So that's what I'll be doing from now on. So we're coming up on stage 6 here, the 6th of the 6 planets that Venom recolonized effectively. I think this is the Living Planet. I think that's the name of it. I don't remember. And it's got some pretty sick music. The song is known as Frontier Disputes. One of the best songs in this game for sure. And I want to give a quick shout out to Laser Track Productions, who has an excellent piano cover of this song on their YouTube channel. Definitely go check that out. But yeah, this is just your average cell stage. Thankfully, it does not have regenerating walls. But it does have other elements to it. Such as this. And here's another option warrior. Oh gosh. Yeah, these pink cells, whether they come from ahead or behind, is basically random. And you really just kind of have to be prepared for them because they can really catch you off guard. And they also split into smaller pieces if they aren't killed right away, so that's even more fun. This is easily the scariest part of the level right here. It's gonna get really, really, really narrow. And you have these cells coming at you from every which way. You have the cannons. They also have that power-up, so that is the rotary drill. I'm actually going to skip it, because if you grab it, it makes your shield temporarily turn invisible, and I don't like that. The rotary drill just allows you to drill through that destructible terrain. It literally just exists so you can go to a bonus stage. So, and I'm not going to be taking any of the bonus stages in this run, so I will just be skipping that. Made it through there, okay. And now we have a boss that I don't actually know the name of, and I just call it like the living organism. It's really, really easy because you can just use these cell walls to block the attacks. Pretty good progress so far. But now we're coming up, so now we've finally arrived at Planet Sin, where again Venom has sort of set up his base. This, I would argue, is the hardest stage in the game. For being at the midpoint, that's actually pretty surprising, but this stage is just basically just non-stop. You're being shot at from all directions. A lot of bad things can happen here. And the bosses of the stage just suck. So, yeah, basically this is just your regular old base stage. You just have a bunch of cannons and crap firing at you. And you kind of just need to be at full power the entire time. So, dying in this first half is really, really, really bad. So you're probably going to see me be a bit more careful than usual. Okay, we have this red stuff to dig through here. Again, this is another section where you want to have options and the up laser. Otherwise, you're just not going to have a fun time getting through here. And I'm going to try to time when I grab this option warrior because I want it to last me all the way to the next one, but I don't want to grab it too late or else the next one will actually despawn. So hopefully that was good timing. Also, yeah, there's just some cannons and power-up capsules that are hidden in the whatever these red walls are supposed to be. Okay. Had to do a bit of a tight maneuver at the end there, but it all worked out. So I want to try to grab this without backing up into the wall. There. It actually really, really helps to grab those. And yes, I did just go up to 4 speed-ups. I did that for the boss. I did that for the main boss of this stage. You want 4 speed-ups for that. And you'll see what I mean, assuming I can get that far. Alright, I'd really like to get my shield back. There. Okay, so if there's anywhere I'm going to die, it's likely going to be this checkpoint. Most stages do not have that many checkpoints, so dying actually usually does send you back quite a ways. But this is one of the few checkpoints where if I die, I have a reasonable shot at recovering. Thankfully. Right, this section just kind of comes down to getting lucky. Sometimes these enemies can just fire at you right as they pass under you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Almost happened there, but we're good. Again, I'm grabbing all these power-up capsules because they give 500 points each, and extra lives are only awarded once every 100,000, and so I want to try to get as many of those as I can in case, you know, I do end up in a situation that's precarious. Okay, first, we have 2 bosses in the stage. The first is Block Core, and it's really, really, really bad, because you don't really get that many opportunities to actually shoot it, and you basically just have to dodge a bunch of these moving blocks and bullets the entire time. This is a very scary fight, so I'm probably going to be really quiet here. Again, if there's anywhere I'm going to die, it's going to be here. That was bad. So yeah, the timing of when you destroy Block Core also matters, because if you destroy it when those blocks are at a bad point in their cycles, then that happens. I might have been able to save that, but yeah. So that's gonna put me back quite a ways, but that's, like I said, this checkpoint is one I can recover at. I just need to actually get back there. So I want to have at least 2 options, the up laser, that's stupid, 4 speed ups, and any kind of laser level by the time I get to block core. And then I also get the napalm missile just so I can take care of the cannons easier. So there is, you do need to get powered up quite a bit, but it is manageable. As long as you're not an idiot like I usually tend to be. Yeah, you gotta have resilience when you're playing these games. You gotta be willing to accept mistakes. I actually didn't want to activate that right. I actually didn't want to activate the laser quite yet, but that's okay. So I'll be back at block core here in just a second. And actually, I think it might be easier to do damage to it with the regular laser because the extend laser has a bigger hitbox, and so it tends to get caught on these things. This fight is basically all about dodging, and you want to focus more on dodging than trying to actually do damage. Okay, I should have died like 3 times during that fight, and I'm probably going to die again. Okay, we're good. And now we have the worst boss, in my opinion, in the entire Gradius series. And I'm not joking. This is a Batadon. Just watch. If you're in this thing's line of fire at any point, you're just dead. I'm putting that out there. Okay, I know I made that look easy. That's not easy. That took me so long to learn. That boss can be a roadblock for you. You basically just have to keep baiting it up and down and just hope it doesn't corner you, because it can do that. Okay, so here's I know this is all in Japanese, but basically here's the situation we're in. So James Burton, who is the former pilot of the Vic Viper and who's piloting the Battalion, he has arrived at Planet Sin, but hey, wait, Venom's not anywhere. And then it turns out, oh, yeah, Dr. Venom is smart, so he anticipated that Battalion was going to attack, so he boarded his mothership, and actually, while Battalion was busy saving all the other planets, he just went back to Planet Gradius to attack that. So now Battalion has to return to Planet Gradius in order to stop Venom from destroying it. So how does this incorporate into the gameplay? Well, it pulls a Ghosts and Goblins on you. Now I have to replay the first 6 stages again, but in reverse. And that is the main reason why this game is so long. So, I should mention, I haven't yet mentioned Nemesis 90 Kai. That was the port of this game to the Sharp X68000. I don't remember what year it came out in. I think it was like 1990 something. It basically features Gradius 2 arcade level graphics, enhanced sound, smooth scrolling, and it actually revised the return trip a little bit. So these revisits are barely changed from the original stages. But in Nemesis 90 Kai, they shortened the return trips and added a couple of extra stages that you could visit. But, yeah, so this is Stage 8. This is literally just going to be the same as Stage 6 from earlier. And I do want to kind of get back to full power here, so I'm going to get my force field back first. Yeah, this is basically just the same thing you've already seen. But yeah, Nemesis 90 Kai, by the way, is way, way harder than this game, if you can believe it, because the rank system is just absolutely annoying. Like, if you go 3 stages without dying, you will have suicide bullets. And the suicide bullets appear like a full second after the enemy dies, which is terrible. So, an important thing to know about this run, though, is that it's not over until it's over. It can go south, especially in this revisit portion. It can go south at just about any point. But like I said, I do have some safety measures in place in case I do happen to die at a place where recovery is next to impossible. I'm only going to activate the up laser temporarily here. And I'll explain what I mean by that at the end of this stage. We have to do this terrible section again. Thankfully, the force field's hitbox is actually pretty big. So it can absorb those bullets like that. Although, hitboxes in this game are generally not too bad, but there are some that are pretty unforgiving. And it's really the blocky scrolling that can get you, as far as that's concerned. Okay, so we have this boss again. Again, it's just the same thing I've already done. Yeah, this game does not have Moai heads. Sad, I know. The closest thing we get is those Tiki heads that are in Stage 1. We'll be seeing those again soon-ish. So this stage is the main exception to the revisits. Don't really have any changes to them. So I am actually going to intentionally switch to the double here, and it's less that I'm going to be wanting to use the double, and more so I want to switch away from the laser. So this revisit introduces those crystals, which have the very fun property that if you shoot a laser at them, they will reflect the laser back at you, and that can kill you. That does not apply to the normal shot, though. So, to basically reduce the risk of having that happen, I'm just going to be playing this in the first half of the stage without the laser, which does make it a little bit harder, but the benefit is well worth it. In Nemesis 90 Kai, they have an added feature where if you shoot them, they turn red, and then they actually start tracking the vertical position of your ship until they're destroyed, which makes them very annoying. Also, Nemesis 90 Kai, this stage has prominences from Salamander. Very fun. We got more of those crystals coming up here. This will be the last batch of them, so after this portion here, I can switch back to the laser. There we go. I still have to be careful here, though, because there's a lot of enemies that'll come for me here. And they all like to fire a lot. Okay, so now we're good. To make it through this final wall. Okay. And then we have to deal with a bunch of those fire monsters again. It's a little bit longer this time, but it's essentially just the same thing. You just stay back and win. Again, the bottom fire monsters are a lot harder to take out than the top ones for some reason. Okay. This is one of the scariest levels in the run for sure. Now we have Mayhem again. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, sometimes Mayhem proactive, and you gotta kind of anticipate what's coming. Okay. Next up, we have the floating continent again. And it's even more annoying than last time because you have the crystals, and the enemies are now going to be firing a lot more at you. So, very fun stage. Also, we have a bunch of those kamikaze fighters again that weren't really there the first. I think they can occasionally show up the first time around, but it's pretty rare. So again, these laser cannons, you can't actually do damage to them until they open up and fire, which only happens when you get really, really close to them. You can kind of manipulate them as well. wanna reveal... Oh no. Okay, I don't really like this situation. Okay, we're good, I think. Okay, that was dicey. That cannon scared me. Okay, I wouldn't have wanted it to be that sketchy, but at least I didn't die. And I have a force field. We just have this crystal rush again. Alright, time for the big core rush again. Everybody count with me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we have to fight Mayhem one more time. And that's it for Mayhem. So these last 3 stage revisits are not difficult stages, but with the amount that the enemies are firing at you, they can be very, very stressful. That's another thing about this game, is that as you get closer to the end, you really just have to keep your nerves under control. You cannot drop your focus for 1 single second. Ancient Planet again, basically just the same thing we've seen before. Only difference is that enemies are more aggressive and I have slightly more power. Grab the vector laser again. Right there, I'm waiting in order for the red guy to get in the right position so that the blue capsule appears in a place where I can use it, and that way I can get rid of that cannon so that it doesn't try to snipe me from behind. I'm gonna avoid grabbing any more power-ups for the rest of the stage, because I would really like to keep a force field in reserve. Mainly for Misfit. I don't like the positioning of that power-up capsule. Alright, we're good. To be fair, it was Dr. Venom that ruined them, and I'm actually putting it back together by getting rid of all the Bacterian forces that he is allowed to take over. Okay, so the Misfit fights are also a little bit harder during the revisits because the Misfit beams are thicker and they move faster. So, we'll see how this goes. That was really good. Alright, I need to mute my game audio again. Again, I'm muting the game audio for the next stage because the stage music causes Twitch VODs to get muted. So I'll just be playing this level with... So I can hear the game audio, but you can't. So I'm sorry about that, but again, it's for the betterment of the stream and for the VODs. So as you can see, yeah, those formation enemies are firing almost as soon as they appear. Very, very... kind of scary when they appear from behind, and behind is the main area where you're vulnerable. Because remember, the shield only protects me from the front. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's very annoying. It's like the only Gradius song that causes it to get muted too, which makes me wonder if there's something else behind it. So I should point out that the last time I played the stage, I didn't have the napalm missile, and the plant monsters that were at the bottom were actually quite a bit more tricky to deal with, but napalm easily clears them out. Alright, we got more of the kamikaze fighters incoming. If I'm not talking much during these last couple stages, that's again just because I'm trying to focus. The stretch of the run is arguably the most stressful to get through. Okay, we just have one more Misfit fight. Again, this Misfit has thicker and faster beams than the one in Stage 2, but it also has the easier attack pattern. And the Extend Laser is very good against it. I was playing it safe during that fight. I didn't want to... I focused more on staying alive than actually trying to kill it. Okay, just one more planet we gotta revisit. So we're going to go back to... Effectively, we're going back to the beginning of the game now. Because now we're at the Stage 1 revisit. And again, everything is a lot more aggressive now. Oh yeah, that power-up capsule just despawned. That can happen sometimes when there's a lot of sprites on screen. Sprite, you can kind of abuse sprite overload to your advantage by getting sprites to despawn, but it's pretty rare that, like, it actually works in your favor. So the Tiki statues here fire a lot more. They fire a lot more rocks, and when you're dealing with them from this side, they're not that bad. But when you're dealing with them from the other side, they can get pretty rough. On top of everything else, things can get pretty sketchy. Thankfully, there is a way to mitigate them. If you just sit directly below them, then they can't fire at you. I actually use that right here. So this is kind of a safe spot. But then, of course, once I get to this point, I have to deal with it. I probably should have died there. Okay. Can I just also take a minute to mention how great the music in this game in general is? My goodness, Konami really knew what they were doing when they composed this. Alright. And all that's left here is to fight Riot one more time. Riot is, again, basically just the same as it was previously. There. 1 million points. You're almost guaranteed to get 1 million points if you once you see this game, just because of how long it is. Here we go, stage 14, the final stage. Not as hard as stage 7, but definitely way more stressful. Because at this point you've been playing for an hour, and a mistake in the wrong place will cost you everything. So I'm going to be very, very quiet for most of this stage. Do not say that, CPS. It is, like I said, it is not over until it is over. It is not over until Metallion leaves the screen. We got a couple of branching pathways here, but this one, you can just take the bottom path and your options can deal with all the enemies in the top path. This stage is a nightmare to go through on Nemesis 9 Nikai, by the way, because of the rank system and because suicide bullets. Okay, my force field is at 1 hit left, so I would really like to get it replenished. I'll grab the E slow, even though it doesn't really make a difference here. Shoutouts to that ducker who, in my very first 1cc video of this game, actually killed me in a way that completely unexpected. That was completely unexpected. Okay, we're coming up on the final boss here, Venom, and I'm going to be abusing a safe spot for this, but I can still die here. I'd say the likelihood that I die here is about 50-50. So we'll see what happens. This is actually a pretty hard boss. That's it. Let's go. So yeah, that spot is a blind spot where the lightning can't actually hit you, and it really is only effective if you have full power. And there you go. That is, I believe, the first ever Marathon 1cc of Nemesis 2 for MSX. Like I said, that game is super, super stressful. It's a very long game, as that's the main reason why. As you can see, it took over an hour, and dying, especially at that ending stretch, is just so punishing. But this game, I'd still say, is pretty good, even given the limitations and the difficulty. It's a very well-designed game. It's very, very difficult, but also very satisfying. And although if you're going to play it, you should probably play it with like one of the smooth scrolling patches. It's also on Salamander Portable, which has a setting to play it in the refined mode. Additionally, if you play on there are certain games where if you insert a second cartridge into it, you can unlock special features. For example, I was playing with Qbert in the second cartridge slot the entire time because you can activate codes that either skip a stage, grant you full power-ups, or grant 45 seconds of invincibility, which I only would have used if I absolutely needed to. There's also a fan-made version for the Sharp X68000 called Nemesis 95 that's a bit closer to the original than Nemesis 90 Kai was, but, so, yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's Nemesis 2 MSX. Thanks, RGLtv, for having me. I'll be back, hopefully, tomorrow morning with a Salamander 2 and more Gradius stuff. So, with that, thank you for watching. I'm glad I was able to pull that off.